Good evening, welcome back to Let's Play the Beginner's Guide. When we left off last time, we just made it to Chapter 9, so let's get back in there. Open up. There we go.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
This is kind of cool, though. A fascinating well. We gotta find a way to get to it. Alright, so... Yep, we can go through this door. Looks good. That's that same picture, isn't it? Although, this is taking me further and further away from that well. Oh, we're at the bottom. Awesome.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? A refrigerator? That doesn't look like a kitchen. Probably the TV with surround sound makes sense, but let's just put a hole in the ground. Or a table. Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? I want a huge picture, of course. You know, or seating, it's fine. I think we should light up this room a bit. Ooh, skylight. Recessed electric sentient soft LED ceiling light with fluorescent trim. Tesla coils. That's good too. And a table. We don't need a table, we have a table. This is kind of fun. Who are you? That is a good question. None of my choices are making a difference. But yeah, since we've been asked what we want to put in, and what's been put in has been totally unrelated to our answers, let's give them an answer that's pretty well unrelated to the question. Tables were invented in 1935. Not true, tables were along way before then, but... Ooh, look at that.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Yeah? We're gonna take a break.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Now I will, but we're just going to take a short break. And perhaps this is just me being very stubborn. I feel like obviously, okay, based on everything the narrator's telling us, there is supposed to be some sort of meaning to all of this, some deeper insight that can be gained from these games. But a part of me, just because I've done enough, my husband's a software programmer, and we have on our own come up with sort of ideas for a game, and you kind of work and you create some of the assets, and you have some of the idea, and we've never completed anything, at least not to this point, but there's been partial projects, and these kind of feel to me like you have sort of ideas, you get sort of a concept for maybe an aspect that you want in the game, but you don't have the full thing. So you do kind of a part of it, and then maybe it's not working out quite how you want. Or maybe he just had this idea, like I said before, if I were better at 3D art, I have a lot of just kind of scenes in my head that I would want to model out and string them all together, even though they're not really connected to each other, mostly just as something for me, just something to create because it would please me to do it. I don't think there has to be a greater symbolism or meaning to be divined from it than that. So these games Coda's made, they could just be games he made for himself, they could be partial ideas, games that he kind of wanted to do something with, but then he wasn't really sure how to integrate them into something more. They could just be random things that he just wanted to make, and so he made them, and then when they were made, he was done, and he didn't think about them more beyond that. I don't think there has to be a deeper meaning. It's interesting to look for a deeper meaning and come up with different theories about what these meanings could be, but I don't necessarily think there has to be one. But anyhow, let's walk forward. We'll continue. It's a fun journey. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. Alright, first step was walk forward, right? First, click on this table. Okay? Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Alright, only one photo in here. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. But the first time I clicked it, it looked like it got brighter, like it was turning on. Well, now go to the left side sofa, move it over, and touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Yeah? Well, there's nowhere else to go, so okay, let's do it. We'll hope that the rules aren't lying to us. I really want to get there.
Now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something.
Sometimes you just keep going until it gets right.
And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
So again, and I don't want to sound like I'm being negative about the narrator or constantly disagreeing with him, but I think he's insisting on there being a meaning when there doesn't have to be. My husband and I, the games we make, we frequently return to the idea of H.P. Lovecraft's The Lurking Fear, because we both like H.P. Lovecraft, and we think that there's a game that could be made from that story. So we're constantly revisiting the same idea, but every time a little bit different, haven't entirely come up with anything, you know, any full game out of it. I don't think that's unraveling or a terrible thing to watch. It's not even necessarily watching someone struggle to hit the right idea and they just can't make it. It's just part of the process. You come at it from different angles. You have a core concept and you're happy with that concept. It's just finding the right implementation. That, I don't think that has to be a problematic thing. I don't think it's signs of something deeper or bothering a person. And I don't even think it has to necessarily be symbolic that it's a prison he was set on. All the Elder Scroll games start out with you as a prisoner, and then you go out into the world and you have a ton of adventures. Prison is similar to the idea of dungeon, which is like a common fantasy trope. It's just a thing that it's a starting point that really makes sense. You know, there's puzzles inherent in escape. I know, I'm just being very stubborn. And I'm insisting that there doesn't have to be greater meaning, and probably it's meant to have greater meaning. I just don't always like looking for the symbolism in things, you know? Sometimes I like to just take a thing for what it appears to be. And sometimes things just are what they appear to be. There doesn't have to be more to it. See, he says he thinks this works, but I don't really see how this is necessarily better than any of the other prison iterations. I mean, I thought there was something actually quite effective about starting out in the room, and it's a nice room, well furnished and everything, but you've got that well out in the distance, a little bit of light source shining down on it, looking so tempting, but you can't reach it because it's barred. Just because the bars are in the way, it makes me want to get out there. I mean, I think that's effective as it is. This is very intriguing as well, to have the phone booth out in the middle of nowhere here. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. That's our only option. Let's hit 2 just to see if it does anything different. No? Okay. You're me? Well, so you were trapped in this prison too? Yeah, I was.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Our narrator is fixated on that. Like, Coda's this very lonely, isolated person who just wants to connect with others. And assuming that he's telling us the truth and he actually has met Coda, then he probably knows more reliably than we do. Although, also, this is assuming that we can trust our narrator. From games, just looking at this as someone who has attempted, you know, kind of half-heartedly, but, you know, just here and there for fun, to make a game, Coda might have just thought this was a cool concept, to have you talk to a previous version of yourself. It doesn't have to be about he desperately wants to communicate with a person and this is how it's coming out. Alright, I was in the furniture maze, the escape tutorial, the reverse person. I was in all of them. Yeah, we'll say escape tutorial. Oh, that's where I am right now. Oh, I'm so glad to know that I get out eventually. Yeah, that one was pretty easy. What's it like to escape? Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. No. Strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. It feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. None of those, really. I guess number 3 is closest. We're just somewhere other, but we don't really have anything prompting us to go in any direction from here, so we're just kind of hanging out. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out, and then things will be exactly the same as before. What's the problem with how they were before? I mean, I guess it's different. We're not in a prison now. Oh, good. Mostly, honestly, I just picked that because that's what my previous self wanted to hear. It's so nice to hear. It makes me feel really happy. Well, age does. Age just kind of does that, you know. It does. It's a lot freeing to get older. And you look back at the things you used to worry about when you were younger, and you find that those things really don't matter so much anymore. It's still me, but I'm not somehow. It's hard to describe. That goes along with the idea of aging. But also remember to enjoy being who you are right now. It won't last. The problem with saying that to someone who's younger is it's hard for them to really believe it because they don't have the perspective to know that it's true. Honestly, I think we'll go with number 1. It's just an age thing. You are still you, but you change as you grow as well. So now we've really gone from talking about the prison versus not prison things, and this is just me reading a whole lot of my own personal life into it, just how it was to be younger and you feel kind of trapped in a lot of ways, especially throughout, like, I went to a very small school, and although in some ways it's kind of nice because you know all the people that you're graduating with, in other ways you feel almost sort of trapped to, like, by everybody's idea of who you are. And it's not really until you graduate and you go out into the world and you have a job, maybe go to college, whatever else, and meet new people, that you find that all the ideas people had about who you are, ideas you had about who you are in high school, none of those really matter. You get to really find out who you are, and your adult life, nobody ever really cares that much again about, you know, what you were like when you were a kid. So it is a thing with age. You're constantly changing. You're still you, but there's a lot of ways and things I think about now, feelings on things that are very different from when I was young. So, I mean, the premise of this game is just being in prison versus out of prison, but the questions that are being asked make me feel a lot more like the idea of someone, your maybe current or future self talking to your younger self. More than just the difference between the prison and not, but more about the age difference and perspective gained from that. So, Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? I didn't. No. Time paradox or something, I guess. I think I'm the first person to call back. And can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? Be sincere. Tell me how you feel right now. Or just talk with me for a bit. Well, none of those actually explain how I got out, but it's not like it was... Honestly, how we got out is that our narrator blipped us through to where we were able to get out. Well, I guess let's just chit-chat. What? I know, it doesn't make sense. That will free me? How does that work? Well, maybe it'll give you a new perspective. Well, there you go. You can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just talk to me, or it will make sense. That's all of these are fairly cryptic, but it will make sense. Just trust. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? No, I'll be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
This is pretty.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Well, between it's not necessarily dark, though. We've got this whole house. So I could traipse right up to that door, but I think I want to check out the house. Oh, now we're stuck in here. Oh, more of these guys with the heads. I like those box heads. Alright, we've got a lovely comfy couch. We could sprawl out here. Plenty of space. Oh, someone spilled their coffee. Pleasant music. Gigantic kitchen/dining room. What a messy bookcase. No shower, huh? Just bathtub? I don't see any kind of shower head coming up from it. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Okay.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Okay, don't worry about me. A place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. Yeah. And lousy homes make home loners. Are we cleaning this whole place? Yeah, I mean, it is odd that you show up here, this person, I don't even know who it is, and he's happy that I'm going to help him clean. But really, there's not that much mess, so yeah, we can help out. It's fine. Well, now, you just might be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no? Why don't we start cleaning, and then you decide whether you could do it all night. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? I thought you said you were going to finish up here. Or does he mean the... Maybe he means the one where it's the coffee spill. I don't know, the clear the table button is right here. First, what you got over here? You can't go in. Alright. Cleared. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Alright. Beautiful. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? All the little details matter. Perfect. How about this bookcase? So, how'd you end up doing this job? A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I've never felt so good doing something for money in my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. Might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, speaking of demons, there's one. Someone's put this couch all in a mess. Would you come out and straighten these pillows here? But what about this bookcase? Oh, they're not that much of a mess. But there you go. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there? For sure. I actually quite enjoy setting the house to rights. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Yeah, make it especially cheesy. Well, don't feel a whole lot of pressure, I was joking. No. No, it was stupid, sorry. Never mind. No, come on. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? I actually, in real life, hate washing dishes, but since this is just a click... Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect, we're all just human. Okay, what is it that you're actually cleaning here, though? Like, not that I mind, but it seems like I'm mostly doing all the work and not so much you. Ooh, beautiful. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Oh, I didn't notice any on the floor. Oh, I guess there is, like, one. Oh, that's what I wanted. Much better. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
It's like there's moments in games that can be like this, where you fight an intense boss, and then you just need a bit of a break. Really, to me, it's what like traditional RPGs tend to feel like, where you do a lot of the trek between town and you're fighting all these different enemies and stuff, and maybe there's a boss fight somewhere, and then it's so exciting when you just get to the next town and there's no battles inside town. It's just a lot of wandering around, exploring. Maybe you find some treasure, chat with the townsfolk. It's that break that he's talking about, that little change of pace. So this, after the prison games, is kind of a very logical follow-up, except for that now I'm feeling kind of concerned about it because these dishes are back and I already cleaned these. Not all house is this easy to clean. Darling, let me tell you something. In your lifetime, you're going to clean a lot of houses. And among all of those, a few of them will stick out as truly wonderful, beautiful experiences. And none of them will be the ones that were easy. Just something to think about while you smooth out the rug in the bedroom.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Looks like the tub has gotten rather dirty. Would you mind tidying it up a bit? So we are doing it. I'm wondering what we're getting at now, because we're just... Is it going to be unending, or is this leading to something? But I'm enjoying the conversation we're having a little bit with our buddy here as we go, so... Alright, what you got next? Earlier, yes, when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it. That's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. Wow. You're right, that's pretty cheesy. No, but I think there's a bit of truth in it. I can see that. There is a feeling when you clean your house, you just feel better. Or at least I do. Or like when I go through and I get rid of a bunch of junk that's accumulated and get rid of things that I don't use and don't need. It's a very freeing sort of feeling. So, yeah. I'll support a connection between a house and a soul. Anyway. So, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Yes, I very much enjoy having the books in order. Thanks. Do I organize my own books and alphabetize them by author? I do. Oh goodness, those pillows over on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Would you go over and straighten them up a bit? Can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch. We gonna chit-chat some more? Yes. Question.
But
do you enjoy
of course,
this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
That is rather abrupt to suddenly lose the nice music and your friend, especially when the friend was about to... I didn't get to answer if I like it or not. But alright, let's go see what's next. Did we at least leave? Yeah, we left the house nice and neat. That's something. It would be very frustrating if all the messes came back and we had to move on. And
which
the
is
street
the whole
lamp.
point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
You thought it was the point, but you don't think it's the point? Items you love at members-only prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Oh, I can't move. Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. How do I do that? This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy. It is
About
so
halfway
easy.
through the game,
Being perfect is
shifts.
effortless.
And you
Are those
play
like
as
screams
the
of
teacher.
devastation in the
Suddenly,
background?
you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
I want to go right up to that vortex. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Kids should not follow their dreams. Oh my goodness. Okay, we can't get up there. And our student is stuck on listen. Oh no, it was grayed out. I didn't know I could pick it. What a horrible thing to say. Let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you, it's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. These are, what horrible things to say. I don't think being alone has to be awful. If you're cool with yourself, being alone can be peaceful. And if it isn't effortless, it's not the right answer is also wrong. There's no one in my life who I look up to and think they have it so well together that I feel disgusted by myself in comparison. It's pretty terrible. So our teacher's a terrible person. We will stick with the... Let's go with number 2. It's interesting. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. We'll go with number 1. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? You, I'm developing a cyst. Gross. Alright, we'll just be off the wall goofy with it. Just kidding. I don't even want to do some ecstasy after this. There is no truth, there is no pain. Oh, whatever, we'll choose the yellow one this time. What if I'm not a good teacher? No, you're not a good teacher. Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true. Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out! This is one of the first true things we've been able to say. Nothing knowing it's coming for you, it's going to destroy you. I mean, it doesn't look like it's sucking things in from the room, but it certainly doesn't look good, so maybe we should run.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Well, let's go to the stage. I don't want to venture out just yet. We'll explore around the edges. We'll go up the ladder. Now our narrator calls these games, but I don't know, are they really games or they almost feel more just like scenes? Especially considering the way they go together. Alright, time to walk out here. It's a lovely theater. Okay, it's a little startling. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We're at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Which wall? Oh, right there. Okay. Which side of the wall does it... Okay, yeah. Alright. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room, in this chair, is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where is the bathroom? Well, we'll break the ice. Hello. But if that's my one chance, that's all I get to... Yeah. Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. Okay. Let's give her way too much info and scare her. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. I thought he was going to yell at me for leaving the wall, but... I bet you've learned to lean into the pain. Wow. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? Well, I want to ask her a question, but I don't know that that's really the question I want. You've worked hard to get where you are. Kind of generic, but... You're messing it all up again. Yeah. It'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. That's not that personal. It's a commendation of someone putting in effort. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. I missed the last thing he said. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Okay. Oh, back here? Oh, it's my lamp. So what is our interpretation here? That maybe there was a time where Coda talked to someone who was really important to him. He had things to say, but he didn't manage to say what he wanted to say, so he felt like he blew the conversation. Oh, we can't go behind us, so let's just go forward. Okay, yes, now this is working.
The game ends
This is
with
what it was
this
like.
eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having
Wonderful.
to
This
chase
is really
success,
wonderful.
the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago,
You're doing great.
where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
I don't feel like, if
But
that's
what
the
can you do?
interpretation we're going with,
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
if we accept the narrator's interpretation of that event, given the music that's playing at the end, it would be a trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. So anyhow, it felt like it was an ominous thing. Like, yes, the narrator of that particular game is telling us, great, you've got it, you're doing perfectly, but it's becoming more and more ominous as we're withdrawing. I don't think he's justifying withdrawing. I think he's showing like that's what happened, but he's not happy with it if we're accepting that it's a game about withdrawing. You know, the gates clanking down with a harsh sort of finality. It's getting darker and darker as we go. Eerie music is playing. Yeah, I don't think he's trying to say that it's in some way desirable to withdraw. What's going on? Captain, what can we do? Everyone's blind. I can't die like this. Something enormous just appeared on the radar. I don't know if I click any of the buttons, though. Someone get help. Then it proves that I'm not playing with my eyes closed. There was a giant door, and then my vision went black. Alright. I can't see anything. Except a huge door getting closer and closer. Oop. It got us. Yeah, what's going on,
You
guys?
should probably open your eyes if you haven't already.
Yeah.
It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Is there? Alright, tell me how to solve this. Research? Oop. Alright, let's... This is a faster way to get to the elevator. Let's do that. Hey, Truth, the only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I am bursting with creative energy. No, that isn't truthful. Alright, I can't keep making these? Is that the truth? Okay. Yep. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. Why can't you keep making these? I don't feel it anymore. I'm out of ideas,
Like I said,
or
I
it's
was getting
draining me.
concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Alright. So it seems like from everything thus far, and the answer is I can't figure out how to say the thing. If these are all attempts at communication. Alright, you're doing it. It's working. And if we believe our narrator, he's feeling very alone. I'm going to be okay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Alright. Hello? Oh, this is pretty. I don't think I need to get out of here. I'm more interested in knowing if anyone is there. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. Who am I talking to? Tree? What's wrong? You look lost. Oh wow. I have nothing left to give to my work. When I try to create, I feel empty. I'm completely out of ideas. Well, we've got a lot of emptiness here. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. We'll go with number 1. So, what was the machine, Coda? Tell us about it. Oh, this island's gone. Ooh, look at this, though. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. Oh, that's handy. It isn't far. Alright, yeah, I need to see it. I want to know why it stopped. Oh, and I shouldn't have. There was a sound of water. I wanted to see if we could actually see water.
If the last game featured Coda
take you to
talking
it, but there's a
explicitly
problem.
about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even.
If you want to read those
And
into
yet
it.
still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
See, and again, we have to trust that because he's reading all of this depression, anxiety, frustration into it that isn't necessarily there. That can be part of the game design. Intentionally. Coda might not be feeling that way. He might just want his player to feel that that feeling is present. So we have to trust that the narrator is kind of augmenting this interpretation by his actual interactions with Coda during this time period. And I'm, again, not convinced we can necessarily trust our narrator. So, I don't know. I'm remaining skeptical. Take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult puzzle. If you can help me solve the puzzle, we'll find the machine. Deal? Yeah, it's a deal. I like this world with all the floating tree islands. It's pretty. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you. Alright.
Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Okay, so that is a point. He's not showing them to anyone or releasing them, so it's not necessarily a gameplay design choice of how he wants his character to feel, unless it's just sort of a work in progress or just a concept that he's practicing with. I do recognize this, assuming it seems to work as before. Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me how to do it? I can. First, you have to open the... Okay, now what? Step inside. Now you have to close the first door. Alright, what's next? And now, especially given our conversation options here, that it's all about recognizing this puzzle from before, it's assuming at this point that you have played all of the previous games to have seen this door puzzle before. So there's definitely an intentional continuity in the work. Alright. Now just press the switch here. Ha! That was so simple.
You can't talk yourself out of
I can't believe I never solved it before this.
It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Hello? I need to see it to know why it stopped. Hey, I recognize this. There was a machine that kept me going. So these are all the things we said. Okay, here we are. Yeah, I don't see a machine here, and it sounds maybe like someone's crying. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Okay. So, fun and easy, simple and joyous. Okay, making games is easy. It's not. Ah, that feels wonderful. It wasn't true. So, yeah. Don't worry about it. Just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. Why do you want me to say that? Alright, it's easy. It never stops being easy. So this is, of course, obviously connected to the one with the teacher, where he's telling us that being perfect is so easy. Yes, that's wonderful.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Just never stop creating and you'll never feel bad. Well, maybe... Okay, if we're going to accept the narrator's interpretation that these are all a reflection of Coda's state of mind, maybe that is part of it. Maybe he's just making things because he feels he has to make something, or else he's not contributing anyway, or there's no point, or he feels bad in some way. But he's running out of ideas, so he feels the need to create, but he doesn't have the inspiration, so he doesn't know what to create. Perfect.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Yeah, none of this is helping. Patience. You have to trust me. I promise this will work. This feels a lot like future self talking to past self. Saying, just talk and trust me. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time. What have you sacrificed, Coda? You sacrificed something that you didn't believe was worth it, huh?
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
There is no shame, no fear, no guilt. That's it. I'm free. And we've made it to the end. So who is this?
But
Who's
if
this
you'd like
lady?
stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
The Machine. And we're getting it pretty close to an hour here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and wind the episode down. Oh my gosh, I think this is pretty much the end. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wind the episode down here though. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Come back, and next time, I know this isn't a very long game. I think next time we'll probably finish it.